I can't see nobody stopping us. We're unstoppable. Went through a whole lot of obstacles. I swear we did the impossible. Run up that paper, then fuck it up. Go hit the club and then fuck it up. A whole lot of pace, we gon' get it back. You know we gon' get it back. I can't see nobody stopping us. Unstoppable, unstoppable, unstoppable. Run up that paper and get it.
Hello, welcome to Dab Sports. You know, we glad to have y'all here. We up to peep this subscriber count 69 for the nasty folks.
Oh,
So
that's
we
dope.
climbing.
That's dope.
You know,
How many is
we
that since
appreciate
last week? We
everybody.
got like 6 more?
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
double.
yeah,
We had 3 last week before. That's progress, man.
yeah.
Progress.
So by the time this drop, we should clear 70. You know,
That's what I'm thinking. Easy.
yeah. I was hoping it would stay to 67 so we could be like the kids 6'7", 6'7". Go viral with that for about 2 days, but. We just still clip that up. But man, speaking of subscribers, so during our we'll get to the sports in a minute. But during our break, we lost one subscriber. Just one. Do you know who that one subscriber was that we lost?
Cool.
My wife, nigga.
Dang, that's crazy. So we gotta
Yeah.
get her back. Did you ask her to subscribe
Yeah.
back?
No, cause she op now. She go right behind the cosplay homeless dude. She op. I got two
That's
ops.
crazy.
I just
That's
she has a
crazy.
chance to come off the op list, but yeah, she op right now.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, look, I can't speak for how you handle your household, but you gotta check that. That's crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. So when I walk through the room, heads do bow. But that ain't what y'all came here for, you know. Yeah. So we could have 70, but we ain't gotta keep talking about it. But you know, it's still a victory week for us
Yes,
as the
sir.
Panthers. We hoping to extend that. We got the Saints coming up, you know, a team that people thought we was gonna be in the same tier as, or maybe just a tad bit better, but right now it's crazy to say we're a lot better
Seems
than the
like it.
Saints at this moment. And they just traded Cherie, which we'll probably get into that as well. But
Yeah.
what's your thoughts for this game? How you see it going? What's the score you got? What you thinking?
Yeah, man. I mean, just like last week, I said Green Bay it was going to be strength against strength. I think the same thing for the Saints. I mean, their defense is always since Drew left has been their calling card, but this year specifically, they're top 10 in the run. They've been run on the most in the league because they suck so bad. So teams are just trying to run on them at will. But they've been, like I said, I think they've recorded the most rushing snaps on defense, and they're still top 10. So it's going to be strength against strength. I'm looking for our offensive line to step up and kind of neutralize that, and Rico to have another big day. Since week 5, shout out to my boys, my guys over here at PFF. Since week 5, Rico is got the most carries, the most yards, most missed tackles forced, most yards after contact. So this is legit strength against strength. I do feel like we're going to win this game, but I do think it's going to be a little bit closer than probably what most Panther fans are thinking. I think most fans are thinking we should, wipe these boys out or win by two scores, which is really a blowout. I think the only way we win by 10 is if, like, they make a mistake, turn the ball over in our territory, and then we get an easy one. But I do think it's going to be a little bit closer since it's a division game. You know how those division games are. So I'm going to go ahead and say, like, maybe I would say, should have thought about this before we got on, 21-17. I think we'll be able to score. They'll have to kick a couple field goals. 21-17.
Oh, so I just stopped. So I was
Oh,
just gonna
okay. All
pick
right,
up.
bet.
I was gonna pick up from right there. Yep.
All right,
Yep.
cool. All
I
right.
saw it in real time.
All right, cool.
But yeah, man. So I don't know if you saw Dave Canales did an interview with Peter Strager this week, and he talked about Rico, and he's just real excited about the pop that Rico is bringing, and he still bigged up Chuba, and just coming out of it, I've kind of thought even since last year, Dave is probably the guy for us to coach. I'm still not the biggest believer um of our quarterback, but like you said, their run defense is okay. I would wonder what would happen if they're able to, slow down the run and. Bryce is forced to kind of pass the ball a little bit. But with that being said, I think we do pull it out. I'm not that far from you. Um, I think I got it 24-17. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any stretch, but it could be the Falcons game depending on how the quarterback play. They lost Sharif, so maybe the defense can show up and uh, hold them to another goose egg, which would be cool. If our defense from last year turns into have two goose eggs this season, that'd be crazy. But I do think they'll score just a little bit, so I got it going. Like I said, 24-17. Um, I think Dowdle Rico will. I think he'll crack 100. Um, I think this may be T Mac's breakout game. At least I'm hoping it. Maybe it's just me as the fantasy player
Yeah,
and Rasheed Rice is on bye week. I don't know. Maybe I'm just
for
speaking for
sure.
my fantasy team.
I
But I
feel
would
you.
love to see T Mac have a breakout game, divisional game. Um, you win this game, which you should win. If you're serious about trying to make the playoffs, you need to win this game. If you want
Yeah,
to be in the hunt, like this is the game you have to win. So uh, if they can win this one with the expectation of winning, because my theory on Bryce is he don't win when there's when he's expected to win. This is the game he got to win. So
yeah,
I hope they win.
no doubt. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think Bryce, he definitely came back from injury last week, but I think he was still probably dealing with the ankle a little bit. So I think that probably played into the fact a little bit of as to why we ran the ball the entire game. I mean, you know, Bryce is one of his best traits is like kind of extending extending the pocket a little bit and creating more time in those plays. So hopefully he looks a little bit better this week because he's definitely gonna need it. You know how Cam Jordan and all those dudes are on that Saints D line. They're feisty, man. So I never look past the Saints. Even when I think we're way better than them, they beat us sometimes, you know. So it's gonna be a good game. But like you said, I do have confidence that Rico is gonna be able to solve their defense and we can keep it going, bro. He's playing like I mean, I hate to say a top five back, but I guess his numbers would kind of say that, right?
Yeah, yeah, and that he's having explosive runs. Like it ain't no disrespect to Chuba, but it wasn't like Chuba last year was a lot more death by 1,000 cuts, and then
Yeah,
it's maybe towards the end of the game he'll break one open. Nah, like he'll go get you 8 or 9. So it's explosive running, and
yeah,
it definitely opens up the play action game for Bryce. When he's back there and able to bootleg out and kind of see and not have those big bodies
yeah.
throw to the
I mean,
outside. So
yeah, it's crazy. I think we take it for granted like 100 yard game by back, but like 100 plus. It's like say for example a dude like Rico. Now I know last year was probably his first year fully starting. He had 700 yard rushing games in his whole career leading up into this year. He got three already. So it's like, and then I saw a stat today, and it was like Rico joined company of like C Mac, Steven Davis, and I think Jonathan Stewart as the only other backs who've got more than three games in a season for the Panthers with 125 rushing yards. So, yeah, bro, really good company. Really good company.
yeah, yeah. So we'll see if they can keep it up. So the NFL got a little crazy this week for the trade deadline,
Yeah.
and I got a hypothetical for you before we even get to what actually happened. Would you have been mad if the Panthers traded Horn and Brown and got back what the Jets got, 2 first-round picks and a solid receiver for Horn, or a
Yeah.
young potential receiver and the second and first for Brown and Smith, I believe, the D tackle? Would
Yeah, I
you
would have been
have
pissed.
been heartbroken
Yeah, I would have
on
been pissed.
both of them? For both of
Yeah,
them?
because really the only deal that you're really looking at is because we're definitely saying no for the D Brown. D Brown's way better than Quentin Williams, so that we would have got more. You know what I'm saying? But for what they got for Quentin Williams, nah, I that's not. I'm not feeling that. Especially whose pick was it? They got the Packers pick,
They
for
they
this
they
year.
get so they get the
They
second
get
of this
the
year.
worst. Yeah, they get the worst of the picks for the Cowboys and the Packers for next year, right?
They get the best of the picks.
Well, I'm saying whoever has the worst record.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, same thing, same thing. So yeah, I mean it's decent, but you're relying on the Cowboys and the Packers to one be bad. Uh, I just say no. Like I said, I'll say no for that one. To let go of D Brown, like I told you, we had this conversation earlier in the season. I don't know if we did it on camera, if we was just kind of chopping it up, but you get 2 first round picks for a Derrick Brown in hopes that you can get a Derrick Brown. You know what I'm saying? You know you're not gonna get two of them, so you're hoping you can get a Derrick Brown maybe and another good dude that's good. So I'm not. I wouldn't have wanted that. And then as far as JC, they got 2 first round picks for him. JC is worth a first round at least. So I don't really know if I would have did that either. We would have been looking once again for a lockdown corner. I just heard Colin Cowherd say today. He talks to GMs all the time, and they say a lockdown corner is probably the hardest thing to find besides your quarterback. You know what I'm saying? You can get running backs, you can get linemen. It's hard to find a left tackle, you know what I'm saying? But a lockdown corner, when you get one, an Aqib Talib, Pat Surtain, any of those dudes, I'm not saying J.C. Horn is on that level yet, but he's definitely performed like a top 5 cornerback, shutdown corner this season. I don't think you give him up. Sauce Gardner, they're willing to let those dudes go because they're not winning any games with them. We're winning games because of our defense right now. You know what I'm saying? So they wouldn't have made that trade 2 years ago when their defense was carrying the team, and even with Zach Wilson at quarterback, they were like, "Look, we can win with this." That's where we are. We are where they were 2 years ago. We just have to hope that our front office puts us in a better position than what Woody and them done down there in New York.
Yeah. The Horn one, I don't know how happy I would be about the Horn one just because of I think that Colts pick is not going to be a great pick this year, and corners right now, it's not a lot of corners out there. Like corners is a little light right now. Um, Shit, just to have one and to have two would be, you don't really have that option. I disagree with the Derek Brown one, just because one, I don't know if I buy Derek Brown is way better than Quentin Williams. Like I think they're pretty much in that second tier right below like the Chris Jones and Dexter Lawrence. But yeah, like I don't know. I think the Cowboys have the chance to still be bad again next year. Um, and that could be a really good pick. And if you don't believe in Bryce or if Bryce don't work out, like that's ammunition to potentially go try to get you another quarterback. But yeah, I wouldn't have been mad at Derek Brown. Horn, I'd have been like, I don't know about that one, especially with like Mitchell. Like I don't think we need another young receiver like Mitchell, especially him. He dropped the ball. We already got XL who may drop it every blue moon, so we don't need no help with that. So,
I
but
mean, but
yeah,
once
but
again, I feel like the only reason the Jets even made that trade is because they weren't winning with those guys. We've
yeah,
seen right now with the difference in having Derrick Brown on the field. Now we've made some changes. We did add some pieces this offseason, but we're seeing the difference in having a Derrick Brown on the team. Um, it just pays huge dividends, bro. So I don't know. I get what you're saying. I get the logic. I wouldn't have, we gotta have to live with whatever the front office did. If that's what Dan decided to do, I'd have to live with it. But I wouldn't be happy with it. I wouldn't.
yeah. But with that being said, other trades that actually did happen,
Yeah.
is there any one of them that stick out to you that you like, didn't like,
I
wish the
mean,
Panthers would have made?
yeah. I think I mean, we all want wide receiver help, right? So obviously they wouldn't have, the New Orleans wouldn't have traded Rashid Shaheed to us, but that was a good pickup for Seattle. I definitely think that was a big time pickup. Um, I'm weighing whether I like that one more than the Philadelphia pickup because they got a really good edge rusher. As far as the Sauce Gardner trade, I feel like it sounds nice for Indianapolis. I'm just not a believer that they're actually going to win. So for me, if you don't, if that trade is not going to have you win, you trade up, you trade away your 2 first round picks, like you just said. That's ammunition to help you get a quarterback. You can't do that anymore. Everybody's been talking about it all day. You're stuck with Daniel Jones when you make a decision like that, unless you just get lucky. So I don't know, man. Indianapolis, they clearly believe in their team. I like their team. I just don't think they're gonna beat Patrick or the Ravens if they catch fire, or even or Josh Allen. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah. The one trade that I kind of wish the Panthers, I was like, dang, that's all it took. The Phillips, picking up Phillips would have been nice to potentially add like a pass rush, especially for a third round pick. And I believe his deal is up at the end of the season, so he's still kind of on a prove it deal right now. So
Yeah,
you kind of get a hungry him. Um, yeah, I wouldn't have been mad at that one. I wouldn't have been mad at the Phillips. Um, Sauce. I kind of like the Sauce trade. Like their first round pick this year isn't gonna be a great first round pick anyway, so you're not gonna be able to get you're not gonna be able to really get a quarterback with it unless you get kind of like a dart or somebody who falls to you. And it's pretty easy to kind of we see take a second round pick and move up, late first if a quarterback you like there kind of fall. Um, and just adding corners, like I was saying earlier, like there's not a lot of elite corners right now. Like it ain't the Sherman, Peterson, Norm. Like it used to be, corners everywhere. It goes. Surtain is at the top by himself, and then it's kind of that next tier of Sauce, Horn, um, Lattimore's even kind of took a step back. Like a couple of Jair Alexander, like all those corners, a lot of those have kind of taken a step back. So it's not crazy deep at corner. So
Yeah,
I get it. Like if you can add a lot down corner versus them quarterbacks who can potentially, he don't really turn the ball over, but can, potentially take away a side. You kind of got to do that. But outside of that, um, a lot of the other teams kind of don't make sense to me. Like the Cowboys ain't nowhere near winning. Like I get why they
yeah.
did it. Like, but
Appease the fan base
yeah,
or try to.
yeah, I feel like you got to kind of wait. I would have waited to the end of the season and see what was out there then. But Jerry, he got to make news. But
Yeah, yeah, man.
yeah,
The one thing I push back on bro, as far as the Indianapolis trade, I don't think it's that easy that you're making it seem to just move up with a second round. I mean, they traded 2 first-round picks, and when you say it's your ammunition, I mean, when I say it's your ammunition, you package those to try to move up. You know what I mean? To try to get a higher pick. I don't think with the second round pick you can really get, like, I'm talking about a top tier quarterback, the ones that you would, somebody you really want. At that point, if you're talking about finding somebody that you might like at the end of the first round that everybody else is passing on, for him to even get to the first round, he's definitely not generational. So you're basically hoping. You're hoping that a dude who people are overlooking and stuff like that, you can slip through the cracks and you can get him. But a dude that you're trying to find, if you feel like you have the team and you're trying to find like a guy, blue chipper, that guy's gonna be somewhere in the top 10 to 15 most likely. So you know what I mean. I mean, obviously there's different stories. Obviously, it's not cookie cutter like that. But I'm just saying that's a terrible plan. If you feel like you can still get a quarterback with what you still have in the reservoir, I just think that's a terrible plan. Clearly, they think they have their quarterback, which is fine. But if it fails, they're gonna be in some trouble. They're gonna have to pay Daniel Jones at this point. So
yeah, and Chris Ballard and two different coaches now. They've shown they can at least paddle water, keep their head above water with old
good
Phillip
organization.
Rivers, Carson
Yeah.
Wentz, and just thinking about what you said about using those picks. The blockbuster trade where you throwing in multiple first round picks to move up to a quarterback in recent,
Mhm.
I would go to bet RG3. Like it hasn't shown that it works. Like even us, like okay, we're starting to see a little, return on that investment, but it was looking like an all-time bad trade for about a year and a half for sure. So
Well, desperate teams do desperate things, but smart teams, you take like because most likely what you see is a team move from like 16 to 10 or 12 to 8. You know what I'm saying? That's more likely. You know what I mean? Or even 12 to 3. If they're like Vikings moved up to get JJ McCarthy, I think they were supposed to pick like 18th or something, right? Because they made it to the playoffs. So I know they didn't have a super high pick, but they moved up into the lottery to get JJ. But what I'm saying is you took your ability to even do that. Like at this point, you have to package something to try to get into the bottom of the first. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe try to take that, package it with a. So I know you get what I'm saying. I don't gotta kind of belabor
yeah,
the point, but I'm just saying It's not impossible. You just make it really, really hard. But like you said, to your point, Indianapolis is a hell of an organization. They don't really bottom out the way we do. If they have a bad couple years or a bad year or two, they usually find a way to at least get back 8-8. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you got to kind
yeah.
of trust in what they're doing.
Yeah. And what I was saying about the Force don't work is like the trade up a few picks to do like JJ or even when Andy Reid traded up to get Pat, those tend to work. But like the blockbuster and even with the good organization like San Fran, they gave up 3 first round picks to go get Trey Lance. I think
Trey
he's
Lance.
a Cowboy right now. Like those are
Yeah,
the trades I'm talking about where you giving up multiple first round picks.
yeah.
Like those, I don't feel like
But see,
those
we could
have
have.
worked out.
You're right, but once again, most of the time, the teams. My point to that is, most of the time, the teams that are doing that are desperate, right? Like, I mean, to a certain degree, Kyle Shanahan was desperate. He's like, not the same way. It's not the same desperation as the Panthers, but he's looking at it like, yo, we keep knocking on the door of the Super Bowl. I keep having these quarterbacks who can't get it done. I need to make a splash move so I can capitalize on this window. And look, you look up and half that team is either injured or not here anymore. So he was correct on that. He needed to try to capitalize on that window. Whereas I think smarter teams aren't going to make that decision because, like you said, it doesn't really work out. If Carolina, being the fact that we aren't the greatest of organization, I don't think that was the wrong trade to make. Because think about it, if we had CJ, we would have been happy with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least after year one, we probably would have been happy. We'd have been like, oh, we got our guy. That was a smart trade, especially the way Caleb is looking. We would have been like, oh, we got the better quarterback. You know, the same DJ Morant looking good. It would have looked like a smart trade. Unfortunately, I'm not going to say unfortunately because I'm still riding with Bryce. But unfortunately for you, we got Bryce. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, and we could even have, we kept that pick. We could have had maybe Drake May, who without question look better than Bryce right now.
I
Uh,
never wanted Tar Heel. Julius Peppers is enough. I never wanted Tar Heel as the quarterback of my team.
I mean, you know how happy you'd be right now. Oh my goodness, you
But
you'd be so
I would be
ecstatic.
happy, but I'm the thought of it off, like the fact that that could have even happened, or I don't know. The fact that he grew up a Panthers fan, I hate. You know what I'm saying? He grew up a Panthers fan, and then he did that to
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
He embarrassed us on national TV. That's what he did.
I
The
mean, it
loyalty,
was a
the
homecoming.
loyalty of you Tar
Why
Heel
not?
fans. Anyway, move on.
Okay. Well, uh, the NBA, man. The season is still going. You know, we got games happen every day, every night. So it's NBA is kind of hard to do a game by game basis. But
Yeah,
just from your thoughts, like so far, like the East right now is crazy. You got the Chicago Bulls, they're at the top. The Sixers,
yeah,
everybody was saying was gonna be, not great. They're second seed.
yeah,
Y'all are surprising people with, you know, Bron out,
yep,
Luka to miss games. Hell, Austin Reeves miss games and y'all don't won a couple.
yeah.
So, kind of what's your thoughts on the NBA so far?
Yeah, man, it's so much craziness. It's like I want to believe in my Lakers and what they're doing is legit. But then I look at teams like the Bulls, I'm like, they're not gonna keep it up. So I gotta be consistent. I feel like we gotta give it another 2 weeks to see how these records shake out. You definitely want to start the season off good, right? You want your first 10 to 15 games, you really want to start off on a good note. But there's only certain teams who, if they're proven, I feel like, okay, what they're doing is legit. So OKC, they're undefeated. That's legit to me, right? The
Yeah,
Lakers, us being I don't know if we're 6-2 or 5-2. To me, it's a
six and
little bit
two.
of fool's gold. Yeah, it's fool's gold. Like we've had a soft schedule to a certain degree. We got a Timberwolves game without Ant Man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to read too much into it. I'm happy you got to rack up those wins, but I'm hoping that you know, once the smoke clears the air, the Lakers will be standing there still top 3 or 4 of the division of the conference. Now, what I will say probably is legit is the Hornets record. What are they? They've won like 2 games.
No, we're third and five, and we're tied for the 10th seed. So that
Okay,
means we're
yeah,
right on track to be a
that's right,
playoff team like I projected.
right where you guys belong. I think 3-5. Actually, you guys are a little bit. Nah, you guys won't keep up this pace. You won't win 3 out of every 8 games. Because 3 out of every 8 games would imply that you're gonna win. What's that? Out of 80 out of 82 games, that you'll win 30. What did I say? I think I predict you guys will win 25 or less. I said you guys won't hit 30. So you won't keep up this pace. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm glad I brought this up. Fool's gold. You know what I'm saying? 3-5 is fool's gold. You guys are more like a 1-17. You know what I'm saying? That's what I see when I look on paper. But on the eastern side, bro, I do like Philly. I think they can keep that up. They're one of those teams who they're not all the way healthy yet, and they're playing good. I think they're only gonna get better. So
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, you did take a little bit of the sell out of my wins. 'Cause I was expecting you to be my Lakers, and I was about to, fool's gold. The Lakers are gold, so
nah,
perfect example of fool's gold. Um, but at this moment, I have to keep my Lakers hate to a limit. You know why? We'll see next week if I have to really limit it. But with that being said, like I think the Sixers is still to be seen because when Embiid and Paul George come back, like they're playing fast. Are they gonna slow it down? You know, as Embiid get more healthy and once Paul George come back, or are they gonna move them guys and if they're able to move them and maybe get a they're not gonna get the same quality of piece back, but at least like a solid role player or a
Yeah.
solid starter, like they can be interesting. Um, and the
So I
Thunder
mean,
man,
when I hold on, let me just hold you on that one for Philly. What direction do you see them going in? Like, what kind of big? Because they need a big still, right? Like, what kind of big do you
yeah,
think they should move
uh,
to if they were to get rid of Joel?
like
Just a
like
rim
a
runner,
rim runner, yeah, rim runner.
play
Like they
defense.
would, yeah, like they would never move him because they just got him. Like Miles Turner saying would be like a good
That'd
fit,
be perfect for them.
yeah,
That'd be perfect
like
for
a
them.
pick and pop and everything.
And that's not gonna
But
clog up the paint. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like somebody like him. Um, I know we talked about the Spurs during the last time talking about them moving a point guard and right on schedule. It's like they need Darren Fox because Castle, you can tell, is not like a traditional point guard, you know.
To
Um,
score.
yeah, like set the table. Like they kind of
Yeah.
need Darren Fox to bring that. And Harper is hurt, so yeah, they
Dang,
need
he's
him
already
back.
hurt.
But
I didn't even realize
yeah,
that.
hmm so yeah, like I think they're still pretty legit. I think the Rockets they're gonna have to move and get a point guard or at
Got
least a
to.
veteran guard, but
Yeah.
still kind of like them. What you think about the Ja stuff? Like it seemed like Ja's gonna be on the trading block, but I
Man,
don't know what
the dude's
team
got
would want him.
the dude's got Memphis tatted on his back. So I just part of me feels like he doesn't want to leave. But if he continues to act out, he knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, there's a lot of teams that would want him, bro. Teams will talk like this and put things in the media to drive a player's value down. I don't believe it one bit. That's Ja Morant, bro. And first of all, there's about 15 teams in this league that we know any given year are not trying to win. They just trying to put butts in the seats. You telling me Chicago wouldn't trade for him? You telling me any of the lower tier of the league would trade for him? I don't have to list up all the teams, but I would say even a team with even with a good culture. I'm not going to say Miami because I don't think they're prepared to win just yet. But I mean, even a team like Milwaukee, could use a point guard like that. And if he was to come and play with Giannis, they already got a good culture. That's clearly not his team. We've been talking about it for a couple of years that John might be the type of player where he's best suited as the number two, just because he's so small. So I wouldn't really be mad. I actually am kind of welcoming the move. I don't really like his fit in Memphis anymore. Him and Triple J just don't do it for me, bro.
Yeah, so I think it's really only one team that actually would make sense or can do the trade. Like
Houston.
Milwaukee, kind of, like you said, sound good on paper, but between the second apron and the dead money from
Oh, Dame, I forgot about that.
Dame, like they
Yeah,
can't make the trade.
yeah.
Miami, because they always looking for a name, that makes sense. Their offense looks good this season. Like they putting up points, but the problem is the coach that got ran out of Memphis is now working for with Miami. So
But you know,
it
him and
sounds
Ja
like
is tight. That wasn't the problem. Him and Ja was tight.
oh no, not the head coach, the what they call him, like he was like the offensive coordinator. I forgot
Yeah,
his
I
name,
got you.
but
I
he's
got you.
but he's a consultant now with the Heat. So that's the reason why the Heat is running that fast paced offense. And that
Mm.
was the offense that Ja wasn't a
Ja
fan
didn't
of
like.
last season.
Yeah.
Yep. So, um, Houston makes a lot of sense, like you said, for needing a point guard. I just don't know what they would have to give up. They got the picks, but
You know what they're
I
gonna
just
have
don't,
to give up? They're gonna have to give up our men. You're
yeah,
not
that,
taking
and that,
Jabari. Yeah, you're not taking Jabari for a Ja. Like you got Ja at your disposal. You're not taking that. You already got him locked up. I think they got Ja under contract for another 3 years. So it's like whoever you trade him to, he's got to play there. So this ain't a KD situation or any another situation where a player's on an expiring. You got complete control here. You got to get a haul for him. I don't see that happening. You got, bro. If you were to trade him to
I
Houston,
don't think, I don't think they
get
can get
him
a
in
haul for him.
Thompson.
They can't get a haul for him. I don't think there's many teams like
First of all,
all the
based on the
player.
apron rules, bro. Based on the apron rules, you can't now. You have to trade a max. Like you can't just be like, I'm gonna give you a max player and you give me 4 or 5 players back. You know what I'm saying? The salaries have to somewhat match up. So you have to go out and try to send him back for somebody. That's why people were talking like Zion today, because they were like, is a fresh start for both of them just what they need? But it's got to be something kind of like that, because you're like, you have to get a player back that's making some good bread. You got to.
Yeah, and that's why what Fred would come in because Fred got a nice little
Fred's making
contract.
35, 40. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So Fred and another piece could probably get you close to it. I don't think it would be smart for Chicago to make the trade. I mean, with his gun issues in
I mean,
Chicago, like
Chicago would be, I mean, he would definitely fit the vibe there, though. I mean, Chicago, you put him and Montes Pazelis together. I like that, bro. Like, you get rid of Kobe White and you let go of Nikola Vucevic, because
are you
Vucevic
keeping
is,
Giddy? Because him and Giddy, I feel like they style would clash a little
you can
bit.
keep Giddy, but you, for now, I mean, if Memphis don't want to take him, then, because if Memphis takes him, that's easy. That you just
Yeah.
put Giddy and you probably put Vucevic together and you good. But you could get still, bro. You can get something for Giddy too. I like what the Bulls kind of got going down there with some of the young bucks. But my whole point to that is there will be suitors for Ja. If teams find out he's on the market, like I said, they're gonna drive the price down for him. But teams will be foolish to pass up on him. Foolish.
Yeah, yeah, I think the market gonna be low just because any team that's looking to make that trade is, I'm assuming is trying to somewhat win.
Yeah,
Chicago's the one that you kind of convinced me on, like him and Giddy kind of doing a swap would kind of make sense for both teams.
yeah.
But outside of Chicago, like all the other teams that are trying to win all have a point guard. And right now, just based off of Ja issues and stuff, you gonna
Yeah. Well,
lean a lot of these other point guards.
you think about what's best for Ja. Like there's some teams who, like Brooklyn, they have no idea what they're doing. To get a player like Ja, you know what I'm saying? That would just they would welcome that with open arms. Now, do they have the type of players that Memphis would want? That might be another thing. But when in
Yeah.
terms of like I'm just talking about in terms of teams who would take him, like bruh, there's plenty of teams out there who
I,
I feel like if you went to Atlanta and you were like, yo, we want Trey, they would think about it. They'd be like, yo, he's bigger than Trey. He's the city would love him. They would think about that, bruh. Do you think they wouldn't?
Um, Atlanta, if the trade thing isn't working, maybe. Brooklyn,
Sacramento,
I don't.
Sacramento is stupid. They would do it.
Okay,
And then
all right.
you
Look
know what I'm
now,
saying? Like
I can't
you
argue
can't
that
really
one.
argue with that. But
I don't think Brooklyn's gonna do it because they clearly tanking and they just did the dumbest thing we've ever seen and drafted 5 point guards last year. So if they, them to
Spurs,
bring in a 6 point guard would be crazy. So
Spurs, that wouldn't even make any sense. I don't know, bro. I think like you said, it would definitely be difficult because he makes so much. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Maybe Pat Riley would even convince himself that I'll send away Tyler Hero and somebody and bring him in, and the Heat culture will get a hold of him. But I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know.
but yeah, but yeah, man, it'll be interesting. Oh, just a quick thought on NFL. We got a game tonight, Thursday night game. Uh, it's an easy picker, but do you got a score? Broncos Raiders. See
Um,
what I said? It's an easy picker.
yeah, I mean Broncos are gonna win, but I don't know, bro. I think I can't pick a score on this because I don't really know what to make of the Broncos offense right now. I think they could go out
Yeah,
there and they could put up 27, 30 points on this Raiders team, but I'm not expecting them to. So I'm gonna just say like Gino looked a little bit better last week. I think they'll win this game like 24-14. I don't think it's gonna be any fireworks on a Thursday night.
yeah, yeah. I think it'll probably be like 30 to
It's a
10.
division game. It's a division game
Yeah,
now.
yeah, but that defense, and I think Gino will let it go. Man, I won, so I ain't so mad. Man, I didn't realize Bowers was back. Had him sitting on my bench, 42 points, like just
Who?
sitting there. Brock Bowers came back last week, and I
Oh
didn't realize
shit.
he had came back. He's sitting on my bench 42. I'm like, gracious,
He went
crazy.
crazy last week. That's crazy. I
Yeah,
didn't even know that. I ain't see.
yeah.
That's tough.
All on my bench, just hanging out. But man, the last thing kind of want to touch on before we got up out of here was UFC. We had talked about the eye poke, but missed the whole like they got their own gambling scandal with Isaac. Delegarian or
Yeah,
whatnot. And basically during the fight, DC he was in a chokehold, and the guy wasn't even like trying to pull his arms apart, get him off his neck. He was just like punching him, and he's actually, I believe, a black belt. So everybody knows he knows how to,
get
handle
out
these
of that.
submissions.
Yeah,
And even during the commentary, DC was like saying, "Hey, why isn't he attacking the arm or anything like that?" And it came out after the fact, and Dana did an interview this week where they got notified by the gambling book saying, "Hey, there's a lot of money coming in on because my man's Isaac was a favorite, but there was a lot of money coming in last minute, like an hour before. So they fight at 8. It all happened at like 7. A whole lot of money coming in saying that he was going to lose, and not only lose, but lose in the first round. And then you see this performance where in real time, DC and them is questioning like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then he do lose in the first round. And next day, Dana cut him. Um, and he said in an interview right after the fight happened, he called the FBI to let him know
yeah,
like something is up. But yeah, Dana had asked him before the fight because once the gambling books let him know, was like, "Hey, what's going on? Do you owe somebody some money?" He was like, "No,
yeah.
I'm going out there to kill him." And then you see when you rewatch the fight, like that shit is blatant. Like it is
Mm.
so blatant that he clearly was
Said
like he was
Dana
not
asked
there
him
to
right
win.
before the fight. He said at the.
Yeah, because
That's crazy.
the gambling books ain't messing around. So
Yeah,
it happened an hour before. He talked to him right before, and the guy told him, "Nah, I'm going to go kill him." As soon as the fight ended, he called the FBI and let him know.
yeah. I mean, bro, like you got and Dana's thought process. There can't be any sport, bro, like where the fans think they're fixing. You have to nip it in the bud, bro. Then it becomes the WWE. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't be that. It's like sports is the only thing that you got to be able to be like, yo, I don't know what's gonna happen here. And so it's the moment dudes start tainting the game like that. And I think in fighting, it's gonna be less dummies than say NBA and stuff like that because it's too easy. He was clearly an idiot. That's just an idiotic thing to do. Like they're not gonna see a whole bunch of money pouring in on something so specific, and then you being like in fighting, bro, you have to unless somebody just knocks you out. I feel like in fighting, there is a way that you can kind of make it look realistic, but it's not something you can really practice, right? So it's like
Yeah,
you going in the ring, you're like, okay, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna look like I'm fighting. You either have to take a knockout. You gotta if you're gonna do something like that, be a man about it. Take a knockout blow. Get knocked out. Don't do a fake, little tap out or act like you're getting choked out. Nah, bro, get knocked out. Let your guard down for a little bit, and you take that money like a real man. All right.
yeah, yeah. And Errol Hawani, who covered the UFC heavy, was like, uh, he's heard of quite a few fighters mentioned that people comes up to him offering, "Hey, if you want to take a dive." And there even was a fighter who posted that, yeah, he's been offered it was like 70K, and he eventually ended up taking it down. And Dana White in that same interview was like, "Hey, yeah, fighters aren't getting these offers, but of course, once again, he's trying to protect the fighter, the
The
UFC.
brand.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, look,
but
as long as people have always said that he's stingy with the purse, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I can definitely
that's the
believe
thing.
it. So,
Yeah, that's the thing.
yeah,
Yeah, because matter of fact, when I was listening to Ariel, that's exactly what he was talking about. Like, some of these fighters when they first started from UFC is 15 to show and 15 to win, so that's 30,000. Somebody offer
someone
you
offer
a
you
hundred,
70. Yeah, bro, that's a
yeah.
no-brainer.
But
It's a no-brainer.
but look, buddy, one of his co-hosts came with the Trump card. He was like, "But Terry getting 30 mil, so do the money matter?"
Yeah,
I was like,
that's crazy.
That's a
Yeah.
Trump."
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
crazy. I mean, bro, and the other thing is, in my mind, I remember when you first told me about this story, I said, yo, he either already was plotting on retirement because there's not enough money unless you're like a 15,000 a night fighter, like you was just talking about, the max you think you can make is a 50,000 a night. You would have to stack if someone offered me like 500,000, and I was like, damn, it was gonna take me, 20 fights to get that. Then I probably would think about it because you're like, yo, I don't have to go through 20, just you know what I'm saying, and I can get this bread. So I think I would think about it in that instance, but nah, too many fighters aren't being this stupid. So I don't think it's not gonna be the last time because there's more idiots out there. But hopefully it don't
And,
happen again for a while.
and he was like good and upcoming. Like, it don't even make sense. Like, he was
That's
a
what I'm
favorite for a
saying,
reason.
bro.
Like,
He must not have liked the fight, bro. There's no way you like the fight.
yo, have you seen the fight? I'm telling you, go.
Nah, I'm actually about
Anybody
to watch
watching
it.
this, go watch that fight. It finished in the first round, so it's like a 4 minute fight, so it's very
Yeah,
short. And like, you don't even have to be a UFC fan, and you'll see like, especially when DC talking, you'll just be like, yo, that's crazy. Because
yeah,
DC at one point, so you know how usually when somebody choke you, they do you like this. He pulls
yeah,
this arm off. So the other guy's arm off, and DC is like, "Hey, yo, just pull the arm from up under your neck," and all he's doing is punching. Like, it's obvious, like it's that obvious. Like, all you
yeah.
gotta
It's
do
tough.
is just pull it. And he's a black belt, and DC is like,
Yeah,
"Yo, this is stuff that people, white belts, the lowest belt." He was like, "This is stuff you learn first day of grappling,"
yeah.
and he's not even
It's
doing
just
none
too
of this.
obvious. I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's just too
too
obvious.
obvious.
Yeah,
And then you combine like DC don't know about the bet stuff when he's saying this. So he's saying this without knowing about the books. And then you hear about the books thing an hour before and it's like, oh, 1+1 =
right.
2. And
Yeah, I mean
then,
he's definitely guilty as charged. So
yeah.
yeah, I mean
Uh,
nothing's gonna happen with the UFC unless it happens again. And they, yeah, like I said, I think most fans of the UFC are gonna think like me, and they're gonna be like, "Look, it's dude's got to train for too long. It's such a brutal sport. You can see it right away." And so the only problem would be if it like kept happening, and people were like losing their bread off of it. You know what I'm saying? Um,
yeah.
but other than that, because I know a lot of people did lose their bread. I know FanDuel ain't about to give you. I don't know how that works actually. I wonder if
Oh, so they,
FanDuel paid you
so
your bird back.
So they refunded everybody. Like that's how
Okay,
bad it was. All the
yeah,
books was like, oh yeah,
they
that's a
refund
refund.
you,
Like
bro.
it was so
Yeah,
obvious.
yeah,
Like it's more obvious than any of the NBA stuff. Like the
right.
fake, at least the fake injury with
At least it
Terry,
came
it
up
was
on his
like,
it came up on his MRI. So it's like it was a
yeah,
real injury.
yeah,
He just
yeah,
was plotting with Terry, and that's where I will give him some credit for. Terry already knew. He was probably like he probably had a conversation with coaches, which we all know this he's questionable, right? And he
yeah,
probably was like, "Yo, I'm gonna give it a go," and knew in his mind he was gonna lead that game, right? So that's the only thing he had. He was like he had plausible deniability because he already had told the coaching staff probably his foot was hurting. There clearly was an injury. It showed up on the MRI. You know what I mean? But you still like, bro, you're freaking Terry Rozier, bro. Nobody's putting 100,000 on you, so
yeah,
it's still
yeah,
stupid. It's
yeah,
still
yeah.
stupid.
It was crazy. It was crazy. But with that being said, man, uh, you know. The second one this week. Once again, if y'all wanted to hear more about the Panthers game, go check out, the Panthers versus the Packers, go check out our instant reaction. Once
Yes,
again, if you
sir.
like those, please comment diarrhea in the comments so we know. Shout out diarrhea gang. Um,
I don't know who
is
that
there
is,
anything
B.
else? Huh?
So I don't know who that gang is, B.
It's us, man. Diarrhea gang, man.
No, don't put
We
us
out here.
into it. It don't
Come on, bro.
sound like you're a
Hey,
booty
look.
warrior or something. I don't know what
Nah, 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 nah. Nah, nah, nah.
nah, but
I'm gonna get a
yeah.
t-shirt.
No, but other
Hashtag
than that, man,
diarrhea.
like I do hope I hope we pull this game up, bro. Like being 6-4 through 10 games and not being favored in any game up until this one is impressive, bro. 5-4 through 9 games, and they were gonna have us favored for the Jets game when they switched it, right? So we've technically been underdogs in every single game this season to try to be 2 games above 500. Um, yeah, man, I'm excited. So let's get it done. Handle business.
All right. All right, man. Hey, Panthers fans, sport fans, man. If you still here with us towards the end like this, man, we definitely appreciate y'all. Please like,
Definitely,
comment, subscribe. We brought to you by Mushrooms. Enjoy
sir.
responsibly. And until Sunday, Monday, we'll see y'all again. Mhm.
So say goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. My heart keeps calling. I ain't rapping in a minute, nigga, but I'm back though, nigga. But no cry, no cry, no cry. I don't wanna say goodbye.
Lloyd, go crazy.